Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Driveway Engineer. I'm JR. Today, we're going to talk about alternative fuels, black diesel, B100, waste motor oil, waste vegetable oil, what can run it, what can't, how to make it. And I'm going to run you through how I make a batch of black diesel real quick. Let me first say that this is, it both is and is not an all-encompassing video, right? Like, I cannot tell you what every vehicle in the world, how it'll react to this kind of shenanigans, right? If you're that worried about it, if you're high anxiety, if you just can't stand the thought of blowing up your precious Duramax or whatever, buy diesel from the pump. This is really all I can say about that. Older engines, which is anything not of this millennium, are pretty tolerant. This is a Mercedes OM617 in my Toyota. It has an old style Bosch. It's like a P-pump on a 12 valve Cummins, except this particular engine is indirect injected, which means that the injectors spray into a pre-chamber, which then further atomizes the fuel. Tolerances on these are loosey-goosey. They will run on anything. You can see in the filter right now, it is full of oil because I put literal drain oil in it. I was up here one day, it was sputtering and running out of fuel, and I walked over here to my pile of shit and I grabbed some drain oil from my father-in-law when he changed the oil in my mother-in-law's van before they went to Florida for the winter, and some of this leftover hydraulic fluid, and I dumped it in the tank, and now I drive around on it. The end. Like, that's the whole process for that. That's the whole process for a 12 valve Cummins. That's the whole process for a Power Stroke or an IDI. I wouldn't do that with a common rail engine because they have tighter tolerances, and they're not going to be as tolerant to different particles and stuff going in there. So I'll show you here. This is, I should have had a script for this. I'm going to be all over the place. This is drain oil. This is the drain oil Tony left me. Somebody knocked it over, so it's not as settled as it should be. Yeah, I'm not seeing what I wanted to see. Oh, there. See all that dark shit? That's all the metals, carbon, miscellaneous bullshit that's in that oil. By doing a process called settling, and you can do this with waste, there's WMO, which is waste motor oil, and there's WVO, which is waste vegetable oil. Either one, you can just leave a jug like this sitting, and all the bad juju will fall to the bottom if you wait like 2 weeks and you don't do what I just did. Just leave it sit. All the bad shit will fall to the bottom. If you have a clear jug, like I do here, You can even just like drill a hole, like say this is the line, just drill a hole above it and leave all the water in the bottom. And you can put it directly in the tank of an older vehicle, anything not made in this century. The next problem that you're going to run into in this mason jar here is what my granny would call store-bought diesel. This is straight out of the pump in the US. We have ultra low sulfur diesel. It's nothing fancy. There's no hot shot secret stiction, friction, modifier, super ball dropper 9000. You see it's running like water, right? That is the viscosity. If you see this oil, which came out of my mother-in-law's Caravan, so it's probably like a 0.30 or a 0.20 weight. See how it sticks? That's it being viscous, which is viscosity. You spell that like vicious, so it's a little thicker, I guess is one way to look at it. So one thing that people will say or do or want to do is they'll want to mix diesel with oil to make it the consistency of diesel. And if you think about it, that makes absolutely no sense. How are you going to get this as thin as this by cutting it with this? You can't, right? It's like trying to make black paint white paint by mixing white paint with it. It'll never get there until all the black paint is gone. So what you can use is gasoline. Gasoline is thinner than diesel. It's less viscous. This will also raise the cetane rating of the oil. This is 1 gallon of pump gas straight out of the pump here in America. It's not E85, it's not rec gas, it's not anything but whatever E10 87 octane bullshit was in the shell pump when I just filled up my wife's Jeep. This is about 4 gallons. I kind of do this shit this way for you guys so you can see, like, you can do a better job. You can measure this shit all out if you want, but you don't have to. This barrel is full of waste oil. As you can see, there's even a fuel filter from my truck on it. I pumped it out, pumped 4 gallons out. Nobody's before right now. I pumped it out and then I dumped my drain pan in there, so it stirred it back up. But there's like 30 gallons of drain oil in there, and nobody's taken anything out of it for like 2 weeks. It's the drain oil from Jose's cars, it's the drain oil from my cars, it's the drain oil from the in-law stuff, and all the bad stuff has settled down to the bottom, and it is now in that bucket. I'm going to add 1 gallon of gasoline, which I just metered out by pumping 1 more gallon at the pump. That's it. That's the whole process. If you added some gas, I oftentimes, I used to be able to get more easily what they call scale gas from the junkyard that they've drained. It was $1 a gallon, but I would dump that in there and it makes the water fall out of suspension too. And there is water in drain oil, whether, you know, your hillbilly friend left his drain pan outside for 3 weeks or it's just blow by from combustion processes. There's definitely water in any pump gas or any drain oil out there. So this video is going to be mainly focused on the waste motor oil, and I'm not going to get into waste vegetable oil, but I am going to tell you in the middle of the video where nobody will ever find it. Waste vegetable oil, WVO, and B100 are not the same thing, and people conflate the two constantly. B100 is processed to take the glycerin and the other stuff out of it, and waste vegetable oil, which is what's in that tank, it's just waste vegetable oil. It has all the stuff in it. You cannot put it in a newer engine and run it. You can run it in a Power Stroke. That's about the newest thing that will run on it. That'll definitely run on it, but as it gets colder, it gets thicker. It'll actually harden up into a fat. It's 45 degrees outside right now, which is unseasonably warm for Michigan, but so that oil, though, to get back to the point, which is now black diesel, just like that, poof, your black diesel. I'm gonna run in my torpedo heater. This is a $50 marketplace buy. These all work the same, whatever it says, Remington, Dynapro, whatever, they all work the same. They spray diesel out. There's either an igniter or a spark plug in front of it that runs constantly that ignites it, and there's a fan, and poof, torpedo. It's all I run in there, which is what that is for. And I'm gonna put the remainder in my Toyota, which I don't have a key to up here because I think it's on my truck key ring. Yeah, I don't have a key to the Toyota up here. So I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna pump that into here, and I'm gonna dump that into there so you guys can see that run, and I'll dump the remainder into the Toyota, which, if you don't know or don't know, the Toyota has a cracked head. So but I can still drive it around. So we'll light that up, and then we'll go for a ride in that and come back, and that'll still be running, and the earth will still be spinning, and the moon will still be in the sky, and everything will be cool. And we didn't pay $5.40 a gallon for fuel. So let me pause the video and set this up so you can see me pump it. I want you to see me pour it. No camera tricks, no Martha Stewart shit. I want you to see this whole deal. Things I wanted you to see is that there's like no tricks. This is empty-ish. Yeah. So this pump is a fluid transfer pump that I made from a small block Chevy oil pump that a viewer was kind enough to send me a while back. And we'll just give it a little transferoo. All right, so that's transferred. There's a lot of sludge left in the bottom. I'm okay with that. I'll show you guys why I'm okay with that. This is why I'm okay with that. Fuel filters, pre-filters that are 5 microns for the Toyota are $3. But they make little filter bags if you want. That's the thing. So you can totally use one of those, which would be like a sack. It's like a sock that you pour it through and it would catch all the tiny stuff. For this heater, I really don't care, because it was, you know, $50 on Facebook Marketplace. of sucks. I can't really see how much is going in here. Trying to avoid overflowing it onto my floor. Or I have to. Of course, I lost the cap. It's like half a tank. So I think that thing has like a 9-gallon tank. It wasn't fully empty, it was like a quarter of a tank. There's that. Not a bunch of smoke, soot, anything like that. We'll walk out and dump this in the Toyota for a minute because this stuff takes so long to do. I know this is a shaky video. I just really want you guys to see how easy it is and that I'm not playing any tricks. So the Toyota already had a bunch of hydraulic fluid and straight drain oil. It wasn't cut at all in it. And when it got really cold, it was very hard to start because it was too thick. So I put a little diesel in it earlier, like 2 gallons, and I'm going to top it off with the remainder of this black diesel. I don't know if you guys can hear it in the background, that heater's still chooching along. Oh no! That's when I did the switch. Shit. Just kidding. Nothing up my sleeve. So again, if you have something made in this century, you're going to want to filter it a lot better, which isn't too hard to do. I'll do another video on that later. This is pretty well empty. You can see she was oil. I wish I'd thought ahead and had the keys to this thing. Let's go check the heater real quick, just for fun. I really don't need it. It's 45 degrees. That's why the door's open. There's no smell. There's no smoke. It's still hot as balls. I'm gonna cut that off. I think that thing takes like, I don't know, 6 gallons for every 8 hours, which would be $30 for every 8 hours to run. So it's kind of expensive, not super cheap. I guess I'll do this. The time is 1:23. I'm gonna run down to my house, grab the keys to the Toyota, come back, show you what the time is, and we'll fire it up and go for a ride. Back, 1:27, got my key. Doesn't take that long to go next door. So this thing's cold, like ice cold. I couldn't put my dip beaters on the turbo if it wasn't. Let's see here. Like I said, it was having some real difficulty starting on when it got super cold. It was like 18 degrees last week. But it did start, so, you know, I expect it'll fire right up this time around though. See, there's a haze. That's from the straight hydraulic fluid and straight engine oil that's in it. That should clear up since I threw some diesel and some black diesel in it. It also clears up when it gets warmer. Some people have asked if I've like taken the head off yet or whatever, and the answer is no. And it's no because I can drive it right now, so I don't really want to mess with that too much. Hold you guys okay. We'll go for a little ride. The power's the same, barely adequate. Well, people are like, why did you build this? This is the why. Why didn't I do an LS? Why didn't I do a 3.4 or a 1UZ or whatever thing they like? It was so, if I wanted to, run the thing on hydraulic fluid, black diesel, whatever. And if you have a DPF and DEF and stuff like that, you're gonna have problems. Like, there is a haze there sometimes. There is soot. Starts just eating all the coolant out. That's not a cop, it's just an asshole in a big sport. Shame on you. Shame, shame. I definitely have a strong smell of coolant. I gotta go tomorrow. I wasn't going to. I went back and forth on it a lot, but I'm gonna go tomorrow and get another hit and spend the winter, you know, take it to the machine shop. Let them magniflux it. Let them do all the things I don't like to do. Because I typically have no reason to do those things, but now I have reason to do those things. So see the steam? She's a hot one, but that is not because of the black diesel. That is 100% because of the cracked head. You'll probably hear the coolant hissing away. And if you're curious, like if this caused the cracked head, it didn't. It's apparently not uncommon for them to crack. Yeah, so it's probably voided a lot of its coolant. But just for funsies, you can still see what she's running on there. So let's go, for the hell of it, before I wrap the video up, two things. I will walk over here. See that sludginess? That's why I stopped pumping where I did. And we'll fire up this heater again just for the hell of it. Just to... You can always blend a mix of black diesel with diesel. You know, start at 20%, go up to 30, 40, 50. See what each percent gets you. If you're a little nervous or whatever. Like I said, if you have a newer vehicle like a Duramax, any power stroke after a 6.0, I wouldn't do it in a 6.4 or 6.7. 6.0 would probably be okay. I wouldn't do it in any newer Cummins from like 03 up. I would stick to 12 valves. But yeah, as you can see, like, it works. We got free heat, we got free mobility. We don't give a shit what Biden does, or the Saudis do, or Zelensky does, or Putin does, or Trump does, or anybody else does, because we're good to go. Slowly, but surely. So, I hope this helps. It's a painfully long video. It was long to shoot, too. And it was not what I wanted to do today, but whatever. I hope it helps you guys. And I hope it clears up some of this stuff. Hopefully, you're less confused and not more confused. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on The Driveway Engineer.